So welcome to our weekly community coherence call every Wednesday at 10 o'clock this time. It's good to see you all. We'll muse a little deeper into kind of some fun things today. And first, we'll start with Linda offering us an attunement to bring us into resonance and deeper coherence. Linda.
Would help if I unmuted. Good morning, everyone.
Contact the device you need to call.
Sorry, Alexa has a mind of her own, just like everything else in this house. They're just talking while I'm trying to have a quiet space.
Which phone number? Contact the device you need
Alexa,
to call.
stop. Sorry. Such as our new technology. I'm just taking everyone in. I just want to see who's here and take you in. Good morning. So let's move into resonance together. Just asking you to be really present right here. And take a couple breaths. And begin to get that sensation of letting go. Just let go of your morning, your physical movements, running around, sitting still. Let it go. Let go of the thoughts of what you were going to wear today or how your hair is parted. Let it all go. Let go of those emotions that have been moving around inside of you. Good or bad, whatever. No labels, just let them go. Breathing in, being present until you feel that your own physical body is beginning to vibrate. Vibrate as you tap into this universal intelligence, this loving presence that is around you and inside of you. Breathing into your heart and exhaling up into your third eye. Opening to see, to sense, to feel, to know this love that's coming in. This love has no conditions. It doesn't care what you've done this morning or what you will do this afternoon. It's only loving you in this moment, as in every moment. Feel your heart expand to take in more of that love. This is the love that nourishes us, that helps us grow, evolve, change. And feel your own presence. With nothing holding on to you. With you holding on to nothing. Except the experience of this love right now. You can feel the vibrations with every heartbeat. Your own aliveness, because you're being fed by this eternal and infinite well of love. Breathing in deeply. Knowing that this is who you are. We are not our body. We are not our emotions. We are not our intellect. We are not our feelings. We are this pure energy of love. And breathe in another deep breath to let it nourish you, to let this love guide you. When each one of us is living in love, we are living for the good of the whole. Everyone being in love. Until with that presence, one more deep breath. And remember that you do have a physical body, so just give yourself a little squeeze. Your hands, your legs, your presence in this space where we open to what love wants to say. Feel that love move through your physical body now and up into those corners of your mouth. And bring that love with you back to this space. And so it is.
Thank you, Linda. That was beautiful. I just want to presence this love that's nourishing and guiding everything. Thank you. And to introduce our breakout today, I want to talk about that love that's nourishing and guiding. Because some of you have been a part of Good of the Whole for a very long time. Coming to Mentoring Steward calls on Wednesdays. And some of you came in through the connection field and have an experience of Good of the Whole as the connection field. And the piece that I think is essential for all of us is that impulse that's called us in, that Linda's talked about, that nourishes and guides us. That impulse of love, the impulse of creation herself that moves among us has become this attractor to draw you in, no matter what door that you have come in, where you find this nourishment, this, what we call the home frequency, this resonance. And this is not just exclusive to Good of the Whole. Many of you are parts of other organizations and you're sensing this. This impulse is moving on every continent, in every country, through many individuals and organizations who are waking to this innate capacity to live for the good of the whole. This consciousness on the planet that is unity itself being expressed in all of its diversity as one planetary body. And this impulse of creation has its own impulse of evolution, moving through us as individuals and organizations. And so exciting things are happening on the planet, in every country, in a lot of different expressions. Individuals and organizations are working together. And we're actively holding a framework for the superorganism to function, to be alive, and to create this world that we all know is possible, to bring manifestation and form to the vision we all hold in our hearts. And as we say that, the original seed, the vision of good of the whole, is literally to help support that superorganism, help support it and bring it alive on the planet, to support individuals and organizations who are here to help create whole systems health in every sector of society, bringing innovation, bringing new ideas, new forms, the truth of who we be, living that consciousness, bringing it into life. Our very first tagline was bringing spirit and consciousness to life. That was the very first tagline we had, bringing spirit and consciousness to life. So as we practice resonance and have this community coherence call, it really is to cohere one another, as in hearing, cohere, and to cohere, to bring us present, to really listen to this guiding impulse of the heart, this love that Linda's talking about that nourishes and guides us, as well as go out into the world and continue to connect and network and bring this love outward to other individuals and other organizations doing our work on the planet. Not just showing up for an hour in the connection field and being nourished, but being nourished in the connection field to go out and be expansive in the world, to carry this DNA, to emanate this love and frequency, to be aware of connections and what's happening, to carry it out into other organizations that you're a part of. And at the same time, we're working closely with many other organizations to really create an infrastructure of a trans-organizational alliance, a trans-organizational superorganism. And that is exciting. World Unity Week's coming up in June this week, June 20-ish something, with the solstice, the summer solstice, and it's that week. I think it's the week solstice and after. I can't remember the actual dates, but many beautiful initiatives are emerging to really bring World Unity Week in its second year as something very real and visceral for this frequency of love and unity that we're talking about, and expand it out even greater with more people, and bring resonance and coherence into the structure and the experience. So it's not just noisy like it has been. So when I say that, I just want to drop in one more thing about building this, not building, waking the superorganism of humanity on the planet, because we're all cells within that one planetary body. As we waken to our own awareness that we are a superorganism, as we waken to our own part as a cell within that one planetary body, that good of the whole is here to really support initiatives and individuals and organizations who are creating whole systems alternatives. And if you don't know, I just want to presence Glenn Head, who it's really early in Hawaii right now, and can't get in here and share his part, but it's just one. If you don't know Glenn and the Ohana Legacy Foundation, come on Thursday in the connection field and sit with him and have him share with you what he's doing with Ohana Legacy Foundation. It's a beautiful example of supporting whole system alternatives of how to live for the good of the whole. It's a very unique, incredible initiative. So for our breakouts, I want us all to muse into ourselves as a cell within the one planetary body, that we are a cell working to wake up the rest of the body to the truth of who we be, as unity, as wholeness, as the superorganism of a species, and awaken to our greater capacities so we can leap forward. And each of you have a unique role in that, because we're beyond creating islands of coherence now. That was 2000 to 2020 was, let's create islands of coherence to jump the system to a higher order. We're beyond islands of coherence. I'm thinking of Oriana, who's spoken to me about islands of coherence. Now it's time to cohere the islands. We're beyond creating islands of coherence. We have so many beautiful islands of coherence all around the planet. And now it's our time to create coherence with the islands. I see that. Thank you, Oriana. So let us go into our breakouts today with the idea of this coherence and this superorganism, and waking ourselves so that the whole can see the whole. That's at the seed initial purpose of good of the whole, is how do we help the whole see themselves as whole, see ourselves as whole? How do we help ourselves? How do we be whole and function as whole and see ourselves as whole? So I just want you to muse with that, not a specific thing like what's your part to do, what are you doing, what are other, whatever that stimulates in us. Let's move to our breakouts and muse deeper into creating that superorganism.
So Julie, can I just bring in something before you go into the breakout rooms? Because you were talking about islands of coherence coming together and initiatives that are happening. There is something happening within the connection field this week and weekend. So I don't know if this is the right time, but
Go ahead. I was going to save announcements for the end and bring it back in, but go ahead if you want to.
Okay, I didn't know that you were doing that. So it's up to you.
Let's do that at the end so we can feel into this now that we're here, this energy, and then we'll do announcements at the end. So with that, I'm going to jump us into breakout rooms. So we'll see you, see you in 2025. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do
And Tahira just jumped on as well.
Oh, Tahira's coming in. Tahira, I trust that your breakout group will inform you what we're working on. Maybe we need, no, we're going to leave it at 4 here. Here we go.
There we go. Experience that I had with Nahid and Rose. we spoke very little. And Nahid said, from when we did speak, we are developing the capacity to receive that which is already present. We are in such a field of love that I mean, it's so hard to even talk about it. We didn't talk for the longest time. And in that, I could feel the coherence happening between Rose and Nahid and me. It's like, okay, we're three islands, and then we came together as one. That's how it happens. I don't know how it happened. It was absolutely beautiful and magical. And happy birthday to Nahid. She gave us a present and reminded us of presence.
Mm.
Yeah. I am so full. I can't speak.
Okay. I was absolutely sure one of my two partners were going to pop in here. Grace, I saw that smile on your face. Tony, I saw that smile on your face. So, Linda, I couldn't agree more. That's what happened for us. And, you know, three islands reflecting the love that one island experienced in another, opening the heart of the other island to share their gifts and their talents and their beauty and their love, so that the reflection of my open heart to their open heart and the reflection for their gifts, their talents, their beautiful souls, it was my only job to open my heart to be a reflection. And then those other two islands took it in, offered a piece of their heart, their talent, and their cohesiveness within themselves as a reflection back to me that inspired me to bring more forth. And all of a sudden, there was no three islands. There was an expression of the brilliance and the love and the light of the whole. And so what came through that was the disillusion of separateness and the restrictions. I'll speak for myself. The restrictions I put on myself of whether I'm good enough or whether I should bring something up, or because it was no longer this restricted me that I was operating from, I joined in the larger whole with two other islands that I learned to adore. And therefore, oneness happened. And then we all decided that get on board the love train, baby. The track's already been laid. Enjoy the scenery on either side as you come through. But we're on it. We're on the train together, and enjoy it. That's kind of my piece.
I'll just briefly share Oriana's quote, which is exactly describing what you just experienced in words, and then let Tahira and Oriana jump in here. But Oriana said, we don't have to work so hard if we feel the coherence and tune into the sense of that which calls us forth. I love that quote. Thanks, Oriana.
Well, that was fun to be quoted. Yeah, I was just feeling into that super coherence that we began to describe, that islands of coherence, actually feeling drawn now to something that is greater than we can imagine, something that is, oh, what can we be if the whole world came into an awakening of, oh, we're all one, not in the way that we think of ourselves as one being in alignment with one of each other as if we're separate cells, but that we literally feel the sense of the greater organism that is the world awakening, and that we are a universal life force that's being born into a world. Whoa, what if we're just the embryo floating in mother's womb? We look up and call it universe. Whoa, what if? And we're just speaking at the very end about the queen bee. And rather than it being just one queen bee, what if the queen bee is that which is in our heart that knows this greater organization of the entire hive, and that what it requires then is just following that deeper impulse, feeling its coherence, and loving beyond what we can imagine, that which calls us forth, something miraculous, a miracle. Wow. Into the still, infinite still, movement is a miracle. What would that feel?
I know for myself, the coherence I've been able to feel with the group has just been absolutely stunning. I know for myself, being a singer-songwriter for years, literally years, I've been stuck. I just couldn't seem to make anything happen. And once I got involved in the vibrational interactions with the people in the community, it's just like the words just started coming out of the air. I mean, I've been able to write, 4 or 5 verses of a song and a chorus and put music to it in less than 45 minutes, and I just want to show you an example here. This is something I wrote a couple of days ago. Wasn't really thinking about anything, and this just fell out of the air in about 5 minutes. I'm sitting here wondering where the words come from as they wander through my mind. All I need to do is think of the topic and then sort through the words that I find. They come and they go, and some fit just so, while others make no sense at all. As feelings emerge and find their words and fill up as thoughts I recall. I don't question how it happens, I'm just thankful it happens through me. And then I can bring our truths out from deep inside for the entire world to see. I've been told that my words are a gift to the world, and that's that they speak to people's hearts. I'm not telling them anything that they don't already know, and that's my gentle heart. That just came out of the blue. 5 minutes. So thanks, everybody. Onward.
We'll share for about 5 more minutes before we close and give Shelley some time for the World Water Day and the weekend events. So 5 more minutes if you want to jump in.
I actually have to go, so I can't stay on. So
Do you want to jump in right now then? Go ahead.
I think it's just weaving back what you were speaking to in the beginning, which was being nurtured and then taking your things out, but then to watch the magic of them coming back into good of the whole and the field. It's a natural movement of the toroidal field, and so Voices of Water is really that, and some of the things that have been happening. Voices of Water in honoring World Water Year and the World Water Law. Voices of Water is a 3-day event that Connection Field is participating with. And starting on the actual 3-day event starts on Saturday, and it will be listed in the digest. But on Sunday, to really honor the grandmothers, the European grandmothers, they are part, I'm weaving them in, and they're part of that event. Plus, so all the arrows, even though that event will already be going on, there will be an arrow letting people know they can come into that beautiful ceremonial space that they've been holding for a year now. If you haven't taken time, and it's not just women, it can be, but it's really a beautiful focus on this. I mean, to me, when I look at a river, the river just it flows around and there's all these islands out here, and they're all part of the river, you know, and there's nothing to think about. It's just a beautiful, coherent field. So, and on Monday, the calling it the Connection Water Field, trying to build that, will begin at 8 a.m. with a beautiful resonant water meditation from Malini. And then we're going to move into, with Loving Waters, a open ceremony, water ceremony, and incredible video that Oriana made. Oh my God. Just want to really honor you. It's totally incredible. And whether that gets shown there or in as we move into the fire, and the fire will be focused on Voices of Water and really continue that. We have a great, I've been really working on it for, usually I'm like last minute shell, but for this I've been people to really agree to come in and share, and we'll look at extending it a little bit because it could go on another half hour, but haven't talked down yet, so we'll see. So, and that will lead in at 11 a.m. Eastern. The full-on ceremonial Voices of Water experience will be, we'll have to go to Voice, we'll put the link in, and it'll be an ongoing experience until that evening. But Sunday's all music, and then Saturday's all round tables and sharing all different aspects of our relationship to our inner and outer being. It's been a beautiful experience.
So, Shelley, just to be clear, we can get all of this in the connection field. We just tune into the connection.
Only the grandmothers, and then the 8 to, right now it's 8 to 10, but we'd like to push it to 10:30. We'll see. And then it will go to wherever their event is happening, to their Zoom room and ceremonies. So it'll be made clear in the digest where we can, you know, yeah. But just so that you know, on both days, Sunday and Monday, we in the Connection Field are opening for the Voices of Water. So it's a great, if you can share out that digest, or at least that piece, because it's all directed back. That's the beauty of the field and the love, is that it will always come back home. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shelley. Watch for your digest. And we have 10 more minutes to process. If there's any questions for Shelley, feel free to jump in and give her a clarifying call. And any other announcements anybody wants to bring, you're welcome to do that as well. We have 10 more minutes. Nahid had to go. Happy birthday, Nahid. Martin had a noisy landlord there and had to leave. So.
I'm just going to pop in on behalf of Tony, who has been doing the Kirtan. It's not officially Kirtan. Basically, he's doing the singing and chanting every evening. And Grace has been there. We have this thing going on Facebook where we're not really in the Zoom room, but on Facebook, there's conversation happening about what's happening. It is such a love fest. And Tony is expanding every night. You can feel he's more expressive with his singing and his playing, and as he read his poetry. And that just thrills me when anyone comes into the connection field and starts to grow, that we're witnessing. You know, I can say Rose, she's doing more of that. And as we get to know each other, that makes this island feel, just the island of Good of the Whole on the connection field, feel more cohesive. So if you wanted to pop in on Facebook, you don't, I mean, Charlie and Tony have it. There's not a lot of time for conversation, but I don't know about you, Grace. I'm singing Tony's in my head every night and every morning from his chants. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, Grace, you're showing up twice on my screen.
Grace, we're seeing double. It's amazing.
Double you. Double your pleasure.
And you're on mute.
Wait,
We can't hear you.
Part of you is muted and part of you is not. So unmute both of you. Can't hear you.
You're still on mute. Both of them are on mute. I'm gonna,
Okay,
there you are.
I got taken off the ethers, and then I came back in, and I'm two people now.
See how you're expanding?
Proof positive that there is an alternative universe.
I said, see what the superorganism is calling forth? It's saying we need more grace. We need more grace. And here you are. Oh, beautiful. We didn't hear from Claudia or Dawn and Shelley in their group. If you guys want to jump in, we'd love to hear from you. Presence yourself. If you don't have a share, just putting your voice in. And then John.
And Ia.
And Ia was in my group. Ia and Oriana were in my group. Ia, you're welcome to too. Yeah, let's all presence ourselves. Rose hasn't spoke either.
Well, good morning. I'm sorry, Don, I hadn't heard you. I'm gonna yield to you.
Okay, I'll try to save some time then as well. I think in our group we raised the question, what is love? And the question is, we talk about it enough, and one of the issues is, are we born loving with the highest level of love? Or is it something we learn? You know, I think there was some thought that we come in love and we have lots of love and we're corrupted. You know, we're taught to hate, we're taught not to love. You know, we're given negative messages from the time we're born. So one thought was we're born with love, but then the way we bring people up, we teach them to be hating of others and so on, be prejudiced and biased. The other is that we're born simply with the opportunity to communicate. You know, we have two ears and one mouth. When we listen to others, we develop empathy. And empathy is very important if we can learn to listen to others. But the idea that whatever it is that we're born with, can we teach love? Is there some way that we get people to be unconditionally loving of the greater whole? The reality is, if we look at the world, most people, at least I shared my experience as a psychiatrist, most people don't love themselves unconditionally. And the world is more full of hate in many ways than unconditional love. And the question is there something, members of this group, did we learn to be unconditionally loving? We're a rather distinct or unusual group that we can disagree and still love one another. But that's not the way most of the people are. And it raises a lot of questions which we don't have any answers to. But I think we need to address some of these questions, and I think we can come up with some answers. So that was, I think, Claudia, was that a fair description, would you say?
Oops, I think that was a fair description. Yep. And good morning, everyone.
Claudia, I wish we could see you.
Oh, in a little bit, I'm doing the wake up thing.
I wanted to come back in and kind of follow John's thread. One thing I was going to do is what I shared this morning with the no thought place that we go. That sometimes we use too many words to describe everything in life. And when we drop the words and drop the labels, we find ourselves, I'm going to paraphrase, I think we find ourselves back home. We find our way back home once we stop laboring and deciphering and trying to give words to, but allowing. I don't know that you can define unconditional love. I think you need to be unconditional love. One of the things my great-grandmother taught us about hate. I grew up in Mississippi. Think about it. I grew up in Mississippi. I never knew what a nigger was. I never even knew it. I was on a bus going to school. Because until then, we lived in a protected community where the people there was our shield. They experienced what they shield us from all the hate and stuff in the world. And that when we went out to high school, that was the first time leaving our protected community. Because we had to get on a bus to go out of where we lived into another county, into another school. It was time to go to high school. We was leaving our regular elementary school, graduated from 8th grade, 9th grade. And on the bus, these white children are on their bus going to school to the same county. And they raised up in their bus and they was pointing their finger, nigger, nigger, niggers. And we did like, really? What is that? So I went back home and I told my great-grandmother this story. My great-grandmother said, hate for hate don't get love. Hate for hate don't get love. And she said, remember, a heap sees, darling, and a few knows. And then she left me with that. And what I said, my great-grandmother gave me crumbs to walk in life with, because often she would give me these little threads to walk with, and I would meet them in the world later and understand what she said. Hate for hate don't get hate. To me, that's unconditional love, that if we stand in this, and I call it standing in this neutrality of life, I have always been able to stand in the neutrality, this singular lens and look at the world. It didn't mean that I didn't feel the pings of the world. It means that what I looked at, I wasn't able to take sides, and even my family and my friends would say, can't you choose a side? And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't even do it. Even today, I don't do it. And so it's this singularity way of being. And maybe we give all of we have learned the scientific words to give to all of the ancient language that was there in this DNA part of our knowingness. We have all of these words and we cover it up and we never know that how to walk in it because we put so many labels on it and we can't see it. We can't see. And my teacher used to say, learn to see. And I would fight and fight. I'm like, see, he said, intellectually you have it, but see. So when I can see my place in the world, when I can see my footprints, when I can see where I'm going, not talk where I'm going, when I can see where I'm going, I know I am that I am. I know that. I can walk that. I don't know, I can't tell everybody how to get, but I have come to know that for me in this body. In this 83 years on the planet, I come to know this. What is love? Thank you for listening.
I'd love to hear from Rose.
Okay. Um, well, I can speak the lyrics. I have a kitty in my lap right now, so I can't pick up my guitar. Plus, my wife is in a Zoom meeting, so. But I can speak the lyrics of a song that I'm working at, that I started working on yesterday, that I'm learning. It was written by Sam Garrett, and it's a beautiful song, and it says, "I sing like the birds, I grow like the trees. I choose to live in love. I am joy, I am ease. I choose no more fear. I choose no more shame. I choose to live in love. I am light, I am grace." And then it has a Sanskrit mantra, Om Shri Lakshmi Mahadeva Namaha. And Lakshmi is the Hindu goddess of good fortune and wealth. And so that's the song I'm learning. And I plan to share at the fire circle. And Linda, as far as our breakout group, Linda did a good job of summarizing it. And, you know, love is beyond words.
I'm going to share a poem then. Love is beyond words. I'm going to share a poem from that very theme, unless Claudia, did you want to add anything now that we see your beautiful face? Okay, then we'll just ease into John and the Resonance Lounge. This poem is just sitting here on my desk right here, so I'm going to share it. I want to write a poem that speaks to your unknowing and gently invites you to open your heart. I want to write a poem that resonates through every cell and builds a field that inspires great vision, beauty, and wakes your sleepy soul. For if each syllable feels like home, we'll make an intimate and powerful connection with all that is as it is. The nagging impulse of life recalibrating will emerge through the words as a sliver that begs your undivided attention. You will try to ignore the nudge because it's not the right time or place or whatever until you can't. Then you'll listen as the sound of vowels and consonants and joy and curiosity all run together. You'll take notice as the whispers land and presence themselves with a pungent aha. You'll tune in as creation moves at the frequency of your mystic's heart and flows in your pulsing veins. And then, with the next breath, you'll hear. I want to write a poem that taps into your unknowing until you dwell in our shared awareness and we'll rest in the mystery together. And with that, I gently turn this over to John. I'll make you host. And we gently transition to the Resonance Lounge. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for loving and supporting and showing up to be this super, super coherent super organism that we're all waking to, bringing your unique threads, your unique expression, your unique gifts. You all are cherished. Mwah. John, I'm making you host.
Thank you, Julie. Beautiful poem. That's the thing I'm really finding is that more and more poetry and music and art are our vehicles toward that cohesion. Anyway, I'd like to let's just take a moment and just feel, experience what has happened in this last hour inside and feel the vibration in the silence. And so with that, the field is open to share the cohesion that we are and how it comes through you. And just to pause to let that sink in after each person offers. And it's open.
I so appreciate that, John, and how we've moved this morning from that place of no words. And then when we're asked to speak, it's like, there's no words. Truly, this morning for me was quite magical in feeling, just feeling. It seemed like the entire 20-minute breakout, I would say the majority of it was Rose and Nahid and I just being with each other, just feeling and being and not speaking. And at first it was like, oh, the not speaking, oh, is that uncomfortable? And the more you hold that, the more it expands. It's really energetic. And then there's no words. And then you're okay with that. So it feels like it's actually humorous to try to come back, and talk about an experience like this. Talk about love, unconditional love, being nourished, coming into coherence with other people and other ideas. It is, it's truly magical, and we are practicing. We are so fortunate to have this place to practice. Because I know when I take this love into other groups and other things that I'm doing, they feel it. And I feel even more comfortable. And then I feel like I'm bringing another island into this. It's like, we're just building this new earth. The more we bring each other together. Yeah, it's really amazing. And I can't stay too long. I have to be over at my daughter's house, but I just kind of wanted to bask in this. And looking at Grace's face, I know you've been through a lot this week, and we've connected, and just, it doesn't take a lot of words to know. But it's an amazing place of trust. We're trusting this whole process of being able to love unconditionally. And so, I know you've felt our hearts, Grace. I am forever coherently, cohesively incomplete.
I'd like to speak for just a moment around the piece that Julie brought in this morning around cohesion. And in our little small group, Grace and Tony and I, it played out perfectly. Cohesion for me, and I saw it in our group, and I've been seeing it in my life, is not about me choosing to join something else in order to be included. what automatically happens for me is that when I open my heart to acknowledge and reflect the love in someone else's heart as they express that in any form whatsoever, to reflect and acknowledge that in the other, I find it to be my only job. And there are a lot of people I come in contact with, it's a little bit more difficult to find that pure, unified love place inside because they're so protected. And yet the moment that I do find that place and I reflect that back to them as I feel it inside myself, we are both connected at a level that I never thought was possible. And therefore we are in cohesion with the unified field. And therefore my island and that person's island becomes a greater continent. It's my only job on the planet, really, is to find that heart, that field in another and reflect it as it's being given to me by the field itself. And the rest takes care of itself. So whether I open my heart to an individual or an organization or another race other than mine, or whatever it might be, the barriers that we've created in our finite world open to the infinite. Besides that, everything else I do that is not of that is closing me off to the message that's coming to me from this field of love.
And I'm happy that that was captured, John, because we're still recording and we are in the residence lounge. So I'm glad that yours was recorded if you wanted to stop. Julie.
Trying to make a smoothie. I wanted to correct you too, John, and I'm like, I don't need to correct you. Cohesion is a lovely word, but we were talking about coherence, but I love cohesion too. So I'll stop the recording now because that's an important thing. Thank you, Linda. And yeah, yummy, yummy. Darn. I'm gonna finish my smoothie now.
Julie, can you tell me the difference between cohesion and coherence? I would like to know that.
Yeah,